everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to be watercoloring our new rose close-up background stamp. This is a 6x6 cling background stamp that was released in our October 2017 release. I'm going to start off by rose gold heat embossing this large image onto an A2 size watercolor panel. I'm using Canson XL 140-pound watercolor paper, and I use my Speedball Baron to help me get a nice crisp and clean impression. Again, I'm using our rose gold embossing powder. For my watercolors today, I'm using Ken Oliver color bursts. I'm using the Peony hue. Color bursts are concentrated watercolor powders, and they're known for their vibrancy, and that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love them. I'm using a fine and large tip aqua brush to watercolor today. I use the fine tip brush to apply my pigments, and then I use the large tip brush to blend that pigment out. Generally, I use two fine tip water brushes to watercolor, but since some of the petals on my rose close-up are fairly large in their surface area, I did use a large tip brush to help me blend all of that color out in the large spaces. But our rose close-up is a great stamp if you want to practice coloring because it has the smaller areas and then it has the larger petals for you to practice your coloring, whether you're using watercolors or color pencils or markers. It's a great image to help you practice your coloring with whatever medium you're using. So I am watercoloring today and I'm using the wet on wet technique. So what this technique consists of is that you have to first saturate your watercolor paper with clean water. And while that paper is saturated with the water, you apply a wash of color and you're going to see that the pigment will start to diffuse and blend into that wet area on your paper. And you're going to get a really nice blend this way. While that painted area is still wet, you can continue to add your watercolor paint to those areas, and this will determine how bright or vibrant your painting will be. So it's really up to you how much paint you want to add. Once I finished painting all the petals on my rose with my peony color burst, I added some turquoise to the edges of the rose to give it a little bit more interest. Next, I'm going to take our brushed hugs coordinating die, which also can be a standalone word die as well. I'm going to take this die and I'm going to die cut both our watercolored panel, and I'm also going to die cut the same hugs on some black cardstock. I'm going to make sure that the watercolor panel stays together as I adhere it down onto a side folding A2 card base. Then I'm going to carefully peel up the watercolored hugs because I'm going to replace this with the black cardstock hugs. This is essentially an Eclipse card but with a bit of a shadow underneath that watercolored die cut. When you die cut your words, you want to make sure you save all of those negative bits and adhere them into your card to get that full eclipse effect. Once I adhere down my shadow word die, I just adhered my watercolored hugs above that black cardstock die cut, but I did offset it just a tiny bit so that you could see a little bit of the black cardstock peeking through. This is a really great way to add a sentiment to our 6x6 cling stamp images. It's a great way to add a sentiment without losing any major part of the image. After I finished adhering down my sentiment, I added our clear rhinestones to embellish my card. Our clear rhinestones are really great because they don't have any backing, so they take on whatever color you adhere them down to. So they're similar to our dewdrops in that aspect, except these are faceted and just take on a really nice gemstone quality. So that is it for my card and video today. I hope you enjoyed today's process video. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.